Yeah, I could use an agenda if you have one.
You need
I
it
think
then?
I printed it.
If you're not for next sure, I don't want to be the last one, but. If somebody comes in and needs it, I'll give up mine, thank you.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Sorry to cut it to the close. Give you just a few minutes to look over the minutes if you haven't already. They're fairly straightforward. Do you have to click already?
Oh, you need to go, yeah. I can-
Okay,
Sister's doing those ones now.
so very comfortable. Have you had long enough to look over the minutes?
Yep.
Okay, all those in favor of accepting the minutes as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, Sarah's not here this morning.
Sarah's not here this morning, I'll cover it all. So once again, Allison Maynard, Director of Human Services here. So I had sent you all an email over the summer about the Fair Rent Commission. So every town in the state of Connecticut that has 25,000 people or more has to establish a Fair Rent Commission. So we did just pass the ordinance in August. In the ordinance, it does say that somebody from the COA needs to be representative on the Fair Rent Commission. The commission itself will hear complaints from tenants that have found their rent to be increased to an excessive or unconscionable level. The law states 13 factors that the commission will have to take into consideration. The first step will hopefully be mediation between a resident and their landlord, which will take place through my office or Human Services. If we cannot find resolution, then there would be a formal hearing where the resident and the landlord would go before the commission. We would hear the complaint and then kind of render a verdict, if you will, within 30 days. The commission has the ability to say, nope, we think that's fair. The rent increase was valid because there were improvements done, or it's been level for more years, and we feel like, that's, raising it $50 a month is not excessive. Or we can say, you need to do X, Y, and Z repairs before that rent is appropriate. Or we can say, no, we think that was excessive, and we're then stating that they have to reduce the rent or keep the rent level. So I don't anticipate the commitment to be huge in the sense that we will only meet as a commission when there's complaints that have been filed. So I know Bill has already submitted an application, but certainly we welcome anybody. If you have any interest in serving on it, we can have more than one person in the Commission on Aging. We need 2 tenants and 2 landlords, though, also to balance it. So certainly if you rent here in town, then you would also qualify to be on it in that capacity outside of the COA. So I think it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out. There's been fair rent commissions across the state for decades, but mostly in larger communities like the Hartfords and Havens. I mean, they have like all big divisions that oversee the Fair Rent Commission. And obviously Mansfield, we end up falling into this category only because of UConn's population. The town with this population is not, mandated to have a Fair Rent Commission, but because of our student population, it bumps us just by like 80, right? What are we, 25,000, 80 or something? So by 80 residents, it puts us in this category to have to establish this. So More to come on that, but we are doing, we're meeting next week with the Committee on Committees to interview those folks who have put in applications to participate on that commission. Renters rebate was extended to November 15th, so it's the first time I can remember them ever extending the deadline to apply. So between Jamil and Sarah Dufresne, we've processed probably about 150 renters rebate applications, maybe a little more. But so now folks have until the end of November or mid-November rather to apply. Energy assistance, so the Human Services Department for the first time ever is going to be an actual intake site for energy assistance. I'm very excited about this. I think it's a nice, invaluable service to offer to our residents. I found it to be a nice touch point with residents. So they end up, folks that we might not otherwise see, but they come in once a month or once a year rather, to apply. And then we can kind of assess kind of holistically other stuff that might be going on in their lives to make sure that, their SNAP benefits are still instated, do you help health insurance. Don't forget that we have our schooling program, our holiday program. It's just a nice way to connect with residents. So within the next week or so, we'll begin accepting applications for that. Our at-risk application, which was brought to my attention, we are working with the police and fire to kind of modify that. I hope to have it rolled out in another month or two for folks to just essentially put their name on a list so that we know that, like, let's say they're wheelchair bound or they have an oxygen machine or something like that in the home so that the power goes out, or if we have a large storm, we just have a working list of folks that we know we need to kind of check in on. Building repairs here at the senior center. So as you know, we had some stuff that we need to ADA compliant. So the bathroom here, we went out to bid, we have a contractor selected. So the bathroom here on the senior center side of the building, we'll be getting like a 2 to 3 day renovation. It's just, the door needs to swing differently. We need some different bars in there to make it compliant. On my side of the building, on the human services side, the bathroom is going to get like a whole gut rehab, and that's going to be about 2 to 3 weeks. We're also widening some doors. I think that vestibule over there is going to have some work done to it. The front entrance of human services is also needs some work done to it. It's too tight to turn a wheelchair around in it. So over the next month or so, you should see some construction happening here.
About how much is your bottom line for those two?
Like how much did we end up?
How much is it gonna cost?
I don't know. We're just paying whatever it is. We don't have a no, we didn't have like a threshold. It was just we need to do it, so it's whatever it was. Yeah, I don't know what the final cost was. Like I don't know what the bids came in at and what the contractor was, but I could get that. I think I don't want to quote, but I know the initial architectural renderings were going to be a lot more. We were looking at a much broader renovation, and I had suggested not. They were going to actually gut both bathrooms on my side and reduce one, and they were going to move a wall, and there was a lot, and so we were able to get it so that we're just keeping the 2 bathrooms, but just creating one that's ADA compliant. I believe it was like in the $30,000 range, but don't quote me on that. I can find out for you though, certainly.
My only concern is we have been looking at this building as being replaced and not wanting to put too much into it.
This wasn't optional. This we had to do because the building was out of compliance. So yes, as much as it's a bummer to kind of have to put money into a building that hopefully we're not going to be in long term. Yeah. So and we're also working with the architects for the cold storage freezer that we're converting to a fridge to be tacked onto the backside of the building, so that'll expand our.
What architect cold storage?
I don't know her name. The town works with the same one.
How do we pick architects? Arbitrarily or?
That'd be a facilities question. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Be interesting to find out.
But I am under the understanding that it's similar to like a retainer that we have with an attorney. We have a retainer with an architectural firm. So perhaps, you know, at some point, yeah, people apply to be the town's architect, if you will. The two times that I've worked with the architect, it's been the same architectural firm.
Is that the one that did the school?
No, I do not believe so. I just kind of walk around and say, oh, this bathroom needs this and that, and then they do their thing, but I just get to really find out, but that would definitely be more of a facilities question. Just a heads up, WRTV is doing their update at town council this evening, if you want to zoom in to listen to that. And then just a reminder, it's National Senior Center Month. So we have lots of great programming, as really they always do here. But on September 26th, they'll be having a variety show, so that should be really fun to come out and watch. So whoever you wanted me to put a plug in for that, or participate in if you wanted to. I think that's it. I'm sure that's my question.
When are they looking at doing, fixing the back?
Very soon. So we've already, we've already went out to bid. We've already selected somebody. So I was just going back and forth with facilities last week. We're just trying to time it, obviously, with a lot of activity happening here. But like I said, this bathroom here will be the minimal, like it's gonna be 2 to 3 days in
Are
and
they
out.
gonna fix the smell problem in the bathroom?
So the smell,
Sometimes it's horrendous.
yeah, yep. So facilities has been out here quite a few times about the smell. It does seem to be worse on hot days. Time after time after time, it is not showing any issue with our actual building. It's something with the drain that goes out underneath the parking lot. So once again, I've walked the building with them. Sarah Taylor has walked the building with them many, many times. They have investigated it. I'm not kidding, probably a dozen times this summer. I've been here 6 months, and at least 12 times we've called facilities out due to the smell. And they can't find anything within our building that would be under our control to fix. I know
Who did you walk it with, facility?
Yeah, yep.
And they can't find the problem? I mean, it's disgusting.
Yeah, I agree. When I was over here, it was one of the really hot days last week. And I think too, what happens is, like, especially for staff, they're here all the time. So they become like immune to it, just like, you know, your house smells and stuff like that. And I walked in and I was like, oh my, like, you know, going, because it doesn't smell on our side of the building. And I walked
It's
in
gotta be
here.
the pipes or
It's
something.
definitely the sewage.
And they don't wanna deal with digging anything up or make your problem. So
Yeah.
they're just gonna ignore it, like they do everything else.
I honestly don't know, other than continuing to call them out when we smell it, you know, and having them, but yeah, pouring stuff down the drain and stuff, it's not cutting it. It's pretty gross. Yeah.
You know, like the plumbing or anything below the bathroom, plumbing or anything, that's causing that?
They tell me they can't find a cause for the smell.
How about cleaning out the pipes?
Yeah, great, yeah. Yeah, maybe the system
Like
needs to be
everyone else
plugged
does in
out.
their house when they have a
Yeah.
problem.
Right.
Yeah.
It
I mean, this
seems
is a
like
public
there
building.
should be a trap
Yeah,
required on our side, so that stuff outside the building, you wouldn't be bothered with.
like they come up to our building, they clean out the sewer system
Mm-hmm.
every so often, so maybe something in there might be causing that.
And maybe it would be helpful, because there's a lot of facilities type stuff happening, that we invite them to our next Commission on Aging meeting, because really I can't speak to it, but I can follow up with them, but maybe it'd be better to hear it directly from you all. And then you can also ask questions about the ADA stuff as well, and what's happening with that. It's up to you all, but that's just an idea. But I can certainly reiterate that it came up again here.
Are they ever gonna fix the fence?
So, yes, the fence, so when I arrived in February, the fence was already damaged. I can't speak for what happened prior to me coming and,
It was there, the woman just backed into it.
yeah, but I mean, like, as far as going through insurance and what happened, but anyways, it has now since been put through, insurance, and the problem was the initial quote for the masonry work was extremely high, so Kerma pushed back on that, it was like $18,000. So they've been going back and forth with the contractor, be like, why is it so high? Kerma's saying this is based on what they can see, the image doesn't rise to a level of $18,000. So now that has all been squared away and they should be starting work on it very soon, but the railings need to be, I think, built or created or so that they're in the process of doing that. So I hope by this fall, it should be all fixed. It doesn't seem like
What
that
could we do?
at this
Send
point.
letters?
No, because it's all in motion. It's approved, we have a contractor, it's just a matter of them getting out there and doing. And I mean, there's emails as recently as last week, with facilities and myself and the town manager, so it's all moving forward, so, there's nothing more to be done at this point.
We'll be talking about this next spring.
Oh Lord, I hope not.
This town just.
You can call me on it, if it's not fixed by next spring, then something's gone wrong. Yeah.
I just think the two things are health hazards. That smell and that is
Yeah, not having.
seniors using. And this is a senior building and we're not getting a new one, so at least they could give us some satisfaction on correcting things that are minor. I just get disturbed. We just seem to be talking about the same issues for years, not months, years.
So when did the smell start?
For me,
When did the smell start? Is that new to this summer or?
over a year, at least.
I don't know, I don't hear that much.
I only use that.
Okay. Alright.
And they were supposed to fix that little walkway with the crushed stones and stuff. I don't know if they did anything, but if they did, they didn't even clean up the mess. I mean, everything is done in plain English.
I don't think that masonry work got done.
Hauser too.
Yeah,
Somebody could trip over it.
I believe, that's all supposed to happen at the same time as the, railing work. So, which, you know, like I said, I was told
I'm not
last week is happening.
Complaining that you're not doing it.
No, I know, but,
Who's the head of facilities?
no, I should.
Is she up for reelection or he?
Alan is the head of facility, he's been head of facilities for,
years. He's been there
30,
for years.
yeah,
Years and
he's
years.
been there a really long time.
Nice guy,
Nice guy, but
nice guy.
and then we have Shelter Falls, our sign for the shelters. People stop. I live right there.
Yeah,
People stop and we're Shelter Falls. That sign's been down.
well, we could invite Alan to a meeting, has he ever come to one of these meetings?
Not that I remember.
I mean, if the facility and the things that are not happening here is of concern, certainly he
Maybe you
would
could
be the one.
warn him the issues that we want to address.
Oh, yeah.
And if he could have some answers for us.
Yeah, he won't be surprised by any of that. I mean, truly, is the railings and the masonry work, I feel confident that he would say exactly what I'm saying, is that it's all happening and that there was the delay was the back and forth with Kerma pushing back on everything just takes so much time, and then it's getting on the schedule with the masonry worker to come out and do it, and then the railings have to be custom made. Like, that is what I'm sure he would say, and that it's happening in the next couple of weeks.
It didn't take them long to put the charging stations in for electric cars.
Mhm,
Was that federal money?
I don't know where the money came out of before, and I.
Because
the
it's
town
not
did get
just
a
for the
grant.
federal budget.
And then the bathrooms are, you know, the smell, like I said, we've
It's
called.
gotta be the septic system.
You're on
That's
the
gonna be
storage, right, for the town,
Say again?
so you're on the storage for the town,
Yes.
yeah, you don't have a septic. system.
No. Yeah, which is what Alan had mentioned when I walked it with him one day in particular, where it was very hot and it smelled. He said it was possibly like an issue down at that plant that was causing the smell. Once again, you
Yeah,
know,
the plant
if
is
you
ready
really
to-
want like answers in this type of a formal setting, I would say he would be the one to invite in to talk to.
We don't have a septic?
No,
No,
we're on town, so, well, I don't know, town storage, you wanna call it. Yeah, it's,
yeah, it's not a
It
there's
shouldn't
not
be- it shouldn't be coming from the storage town, you know, the only thing I can think of is maybe where there's a storage
Leaching
thing
field or
going where
something?
where everything comes in. Maybe there might be something in there that's blocking the flow and it's like the odor's coming up through the holes and the
right,
cover.
right.
That's just the only thing I can think of right
And
now.
the smell the day we walked the building was stronger outside than it was inside, so
Oh,
there was
okay.
a,
Yeah.
so the idea was that something
So I would,
seeping in.
ask Alan maybe to, you know, check maybe inside one of those storage things here. if there's
Well, I
no
think he
block.
had, like they
Okay,
have,
Okay,
yeah,
I'm sure he did.
but they really, in my opinion, have done, you know, they have come out every single time, often at the end of the day. I mean, they've been very responsive, I guess, is what I wanna say. But also feel like they don't know either.
I don't know where Yukon's storage treatment plant is physically located. Is it closer to here or whatever? I mean, it could be coming from there.
Allison, changing the subject slightly.
Well, no, I'm just.
I have a comment rather than words regarding fair rent.
Yeah.
I would be willing to bet that when they checked the population, they were not taking into consideration the 3, 4, 5 developments that are being dumped on us and the thousands of people increase in that population,
Yeah,
which obviously would bump us way up
yeah, that's
on the
true.
list.
Yep. And you know, we qualify either way, because the college students are counted, so, but yes, to your point, and I do think in this community, although other, you know, communities of 10 or 12 or 15,000, probably, most of those types of communities are a lot of, single family homes, but here we do have a lot of mixed units, and so I actually think, and given the UConn factor and what is happening in this town, I actually do think it is valuable for the town to have a fair rights commission.
At what point is a student considered a full-time resident of the town?
So, as long as you are not seasonal, so that would be 120 days or less, you're eligible to apply
So it would have
and
to
make a
be
complaint.
like a full-term year.
Right, renting, you know, we're not gonna hear complaints for the dorms,
Yeah.
so it would be, you know, somebody who's living, in off-campus housing, renting, could, if their rent got increased on them, so obviously they've probably been there hopefully a little bit of time before a landlord is trying to.
How are they gonna control that when it's private property? I mean, you can tell them
Yes. Yep,
it's legal
state statute, yep.
because they only bill to make money.
Right. So if you enter into a lease agreement and your rent is $1,800 and you sign on the lease, then we will not hear your complaint. If you then come to us 3 weeks later and say, well, I signed this lease and now I think the rent's too high. That's not, it has to be that you've been living there, and then the landlord then says, oh, you signed the lease at 1,800, well, guess what, now it's 2,500. And nothing's changed, there's been no improvement, you know, so we take into consideration those 13 factors. But if you know, like we heard, at the Affordable Housing Committee meeting that night where, you know, the rent's gonna be very high for those units. I think it was like 17,000 a year or something to essentially rent a bedroom. If a student locks in and signs a lease, that's what it is. We wouldn't hear a complaint. So it's not to, and there is a misconception, it's not to have an impact on, the market rent value of properties. We don't hear those kind of complaints. It's, you can pay 30 grand a month for that house. If that's what you signed for, that's what you signed for. But it's more like you've been living somewhere and then out of nowhere, the rent has increased, and you have to prove that it's excessive or harsh. So, you know, if the landlord did a bunch of repairs and you got a renovated kitchen, and then he said, well, now, sorry, it's $200 more a month, the commission might say, oh, no, that seems fair, you got a brand new kitchen now, and we think it's, you know, or the values have gone up around you, so it makes sense that they raised it $200.
Can
So,
the commission, argue the quantity? They say, yes, you did an overhaul of the kitchen, but we don't think it really is 200 a month worth. We would be willing for some lesser.
yeah, you could say, well, we think it warrants an increase, but not 200, we think it warrants 75. Yep,
Yeah, that goes along the same line as the other commission. Housing Code Board of Appeals. That goes along with the same thing as that. You know, landlord goes and I think it's a complaint against them. And we can go.
You all done?
Other questions for Allison? Okay, Will. No, how about tossing in your housing? Representative.
Well, the only thing I found out was that the golf course has been approved. So I can imagine it would be starting almost instantly. And I'm sorry to say we did not get any restricted units.
how many units is that gonna be over there total, do you know?
Off of my head.
Yeah.
No, this was at Rolling Hill?
No, this is the one down at the old golf course by Cedar
Okay,
Swamp Road.
okay.
Yeah.
How are they at Rolling Hills now? I see the sign, it says no. They provide the trailer, you have to buy the trailer from them? Or you
Yes.
bring your own?
Right.
First of all, I don't want to click, but it's not a trailer.
Excuse me.
It's either a mobile home or maybe it's
Well-
a manufactured home.
That's the new thing. It's
Yeah.
a they're all manufactured homes now. There's no such thing as,
Which makes them easier to insure.
Hmm.
they're just, no, you have to buy the unit. Okay? And then after that, you just,
You rent the land,
we rent the land.
and that includes maintenance and stuff.
No, you have to mow your own lawn.
Pay your own electric and stuff
Like,
like that.
well, yeah, pay your own electric, pay your own water,
Yeah, like you rent a home.
but for, I mean, I think it's very reasonable. I really do.
Lot fees are actually covered under fair rent commission law, so just with note, so yes.
Good to know.
So if those are raised to an unconscionable or harsh level, you can file a complaint.
Good to know.
The home prices may not be reasonable, lot rents probably are.
What's that?
The home prices, I don't think are really reasonable.
Well,
'Cause they're going-
that's market, whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't-
they're going 150 up.
But they're
Oh, yeah.
larger now, right? They're putting larger.
Yes, they are putting larger homes in.
Everywhere they can.
The only one that would, with her would be a single wide, where
Right.
where they can't get a double wide.
But on one side of me, they put a double wide, where there was a single. And I believe the guy on the other side of me has been evicted, Jay Griswold.
Kind of.
Yeah, and if and when they pull his trailer out of there, which they
It's not
will,
a trailer,
his is a trailer.
it's not a trailer,
As in trailer trash.
no, that's.
His is a trailer and it's
Too
trash.
many connotations of.
They will put a double wide in there, I'd be willing to bet.
Sure you will. They're gonna put double wide wherever they can, because they can get
Right.
over $220,000.
And the only way they can get around that, thank God, is by going to planning and zoning, because the lot sizes are set.
Mhm.
Yeah, yes, they are, talking to Katie.
I don't care about,
Well, she's on planning and zoning,
you know,
and according to the planning and zoning commission, the lot sizes were set when Jensen's bought the property, and it was divided into lots, and those sides carried through when Sun bought it.
I'm not
So
gonna.
the only way
I'm not
they
gonna
can
argue
change
with
a
you.
lot size,
You're wrong.
all right. I'll stand by it.
I go to, it's not planning and zoning, who's? Woodmansee, who is she?
Who is it?
Woodmansee,
I don't know who that is.
she's, I can't, boy, it's tough to get hold of. She's not planning and she's zoning, the zoning, okay? She's the one that sets it.
Jolene?
Yeah, Jolene.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah.
She was, they were having a real bad time over there with lot sizes and everything else and, you know, so on and so forth. And, Jolene talked to me about it and I told her, well, why don't you go and just talk to them? Because they were the size of the lot versus the offset of the land and all the other good stuff. She went over there and everything's fine. They just, you know, they just get a variance to go a little bit, make the lot a little bit bigger to put a double wide. They can do, it's their land. It's their land. They can do whatever they want with it. Within parameters of,
Keyword within.
yeah.
Planning and zoning is very loose here.
Tell me about
Okay, housing
It's all in the
representative,
palm of the
Mary?
hand.
All right, gang. Let me give my report, please.
it.
Yeah, it is.
Too much hot air, Will.
I know.
All right,
Be quiet.
okay, this is 2 months of reporting, because we still met in the summertime. We're doing a record date as well. I'm glad you told me that date, so I don't know if our social worker is aware of that,
Okay,
but I'll let her know.
they just announced it, so yeah.
Okay, I'll let her know that. Again, blood pressure clinic, we're doing that monthly. We had a UConn students come, June 15th, UConn nutrition program. They spoke about different nutrition meals during the summer months. Farmers market, we're doing the energy assistant program as well. The fire department was supposed to come last week, but they overlapped with another facility, so they rescheduled with us on September 21st. Adam, who's the deputy fire chief, will be coming, because we got a lot of new residents now. So get them up to speed on what's going on. The lady that came the other day, which was great, because I attended this, Samantha Leher from Trinity Healthcare Home and Hospice, discussed different things about hospice care. So everybody, there was like 9 of us. I had a lot of questions and she was very well informative. We got the flu clinic on September 29th. The Big White Pharmacy is gonna come to us, do that in the shop for COVID-19. So they're gonna do that as well. UConn again, the students requested a volunteer, so Eileen, our program director, will be coordinating with them. I know they're coming out a couple of times in the next few weeks to do maybe a craft project or some other kind of activity. We're trying to come up with fundraising ideas. We're stuck in a hole with that right now because the administration, the higher up from them, kind of put a box on that. Because of COVID, number one, and because, they're afraid of, liability issues. So we're trying to think of something outside of Jumper Hill Village that we can attend to do a little fundraising. We're still kicking that around. This is really exciting. Our Four Seasons room, if you haven't seen it, we have new carpeting. They're repainting the dining room, the Four Seasons room, new drapes. So that's been ongoing. There was new carpeting in the dining room. So they're kind of like upgrading a little bit here and there. Down the road, they're gonna be painting our doors, maybe the hallways, so that's still on the back burner right now, so to speak. The Government Academy program, I know 2 residents have attended that. Just to know your government in the town of Mansfield. The Welcome Committee, the upgrading new folder, this is from here, upgrading new folders for new residents that come to Killenberg Hill. Of, you know, the staff, the meals program, all different things about Killenberg Hill and things that are going on in the town of Mansfield. I don't know if you might be aware when you drive in, if you drive the island out here, a resident up in Killenberg Hill Village called the town a few weeks ago. And when you drive at night, you really can't see it. So a couple days later, they came out and painted it, I guess, a bright yellow. So people can be aware of that, so, you know, they won't run it over with their car. New food grant program. There's been a change to the HUD congregate food program for low income residents. So in other words, they dropped the price a little bit for lunch, if you sign up for lunch or dinner, which is really great. If you qualify for that. And that's all I have.
Questions from Mary?
Pardon? What is it? I knew.
Okay.
Okay. I just have one quick question. Going back with Will and you, Allison, the meeting tonight for WRTV, you have a link for that?
Yes, so it's the regular town council link, but I can send it out to everybody.
Yeah, you know, you don't have my email, because at the beginning of the meeting, you said you send out emails to everybody. I need a thing. Yeah, so I'll
Okay.
give you my email
There's a distinction. Mary is a housing representative,
for Jumper Hill.
not a
Not-
member of the COA. So if you have a list that's members of the COA,
Okay, and the email that I sent out was for members of the COA to join the Fair Rent Commission, so that's
Oh,
probably
oh, okay,
why you went on
okay.
that one, yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, speaking of, you still have my wrong email address, so I'm not getting your emails. I did get the one the other day because you replied back to Kathy's. And she had it correct, but whatever distribution, it's a typo. It's just missing a letter in it, that's all. It's just a typo in the email
okay, then I can figure it out.
address. Yeah. It's the same maynard@mansfieldct.org, but I can send out the town council Zoom information, just so y'all have it if you wanna Zoom in tonight, just to listen in.
What time is that tonight?
It starts at 7, yeah.
You know when they're on?
They're early on in the agenda, I think.
They are?
Yeah,
Really?
they're one of the, you know, I think they're like, I didn't study the agenda, but they're definitely like, they're updates, so the town manager usually does his report and, you know, and then, I'd say probably about 7:30-ish, they'll probably be on deck.
7 o'clock.
Okay, then I guess we're ready for old business. I've got good reports relative to the presentation that the commission made to the town council. Any comments or suggestions? We have to do it again. It sounds like maybe this will be an annual review, request, whatever.
I think it was supposed to be anyway, we never did.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
It doesn't say annual.
It's careful, periodic. Yeah, period. Okay. I think their periodic means annual.
Okay. moves and what action could the COA take regarding the Mansfield Senior Center? I wonder if we could move that to the discussion with creating a wish list and talk about both of those under new business, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've done what we can so far, I think.
We've already discussed a fair amount in terms of the availability of senior housing in Mansfield. So we'll move to new business. The letter from Devin is, unfortunately, I will be unable to continue to serve another term at this time. I am going back to work part-time and afraid that I will have to miss meetings. I truly enjoyed my time with you and hope that I can help in any other capacity I can. Please keep in touch and I wish you the very best. Sincerely, Devin.
Tragic loss.
Yes. If you will trust me to compose a response back, thanking her for her service on the. Which brings up the next question. Years ago, I had someone ask to join the Commission on Aging, and at that point, we were full. And we remained full for a couple years, and I went back and searched my computer, and I cannot find that deed, so I apologize to that person. We are allowed to suggest, and the Committee on Committees has been very responsive to us making suggestions rather than them pick somebody out of the hat. So, what names do you have to suggest as possible members of the Commission on Aging? At this point, it's just a suggestion. You don't have to have vetted it and determined that they would be willing. People that we could ask if they were willing.
I have a suggestion that maybe we could put an ad in.
Is it appropriate for us to ascertain their willingness at the time?
Thank you.
I would say no. I mean, if you think of somebody that you think might want to be there, if you can't talk to them or.
Well, I don't have any problem asking somebody if they might be interested.
Well, ask anybody, yeah.
That answers my question. Thank you, Will.
Yeah, you can even ask Allison if she wants, you know. I'm just saying, yeah, you can ask anybody you want, really.
Thank you,
And
thank
they do
you,
not have
thank
to
you.
be seniors.
No, they don't have to be seniors.
Devin is a good example.
Very good example, yeah.
How did she come to us?
She volunteered. I'm right, yeah. She came right to a meeting and volunteered.
Want you have one opening or two?
Just one.
Just one.
John, is there,
No, I don't. Remember, I'm still new. I know what you got.
if I had somebody in mind, would I have them contact you, John, or who? You know, I don't have any in mind right now, but I might approach a couple of people.
Okay,
Yeah.
that would be good, and it might be, I would be willing to be a recipient of.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
So ideally though, once, and certainly John could speak with them, but then if they were, if they determined that they are interested, they need to go on to the website and fill out the request on the Committee on Committees webpage.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Select Commission on Aging, give some information. I can send that link out. How about I do that too, just so that if you talk to somebody, say, oh yeah, that sounds great, you have it right at your fingertips.
Could I inject something right here? You think maybe it would be better if we invited them to a meeting first?
What program was she in, of why she wanted to do that? Was she from a UConn program?
Oh, a professional
Wasn't she
therapist of
affiliated in
some
some
sort,
way?
and it relates to.
Yeah, she was working with the elder.
I mean, that's appropriate for somebody who's doing that, to be more in tune with.
But, I mean, should
This
this
committee.
committee, maybe we could have them here first before they go ahead and put that thing in.
Can I add something? Can I add something?
Yeah.
So in order for them, they have to fill out an application and then they're asked to attend a few meetings. And then at that point, John can recommend whether or not they'd be a good fit. And then at that point, then they would be interviewed by the committee on committees.
Put it in-
If that helps.
application first. We have to put in an application first before we can have them come here.
You might be able to have them come and sit, but as far as to be actually
No,
for the procedure, they would have to eventually do the application and sit for a couple meetings to kind of see their fit and your fit with them.
So most of our input is courtesy. So technically, if somebody submits an application, goes to the committee on committees, they can do whatever they want. But they have been willing to have our input.
I think they want it, I really
Yeah,
do.
they seem
They,
to.
they want our input before they interview whoever they're gonna be, yes.
We can certainly, if after speaking with some folks, if we don't identify anybody, we can certainly put kind of more of a headline in the Sparks for October that we need a committee member. There's always a plug about commission on aging in there, but we could really highlight it if we
Yeah,
don't
that's
fill
right.
it.
One way, I mean, it gets out to a lot of people.
Yeah, we can post on Facebook, we could do an actual push to advertise that we're looking for somebody as well, which is what we did for the Fair Rent Commission. That was
Maybe
shutting
I'll
down
throw a blurb in our
scratch.
newsletter.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah,
Of course, that's a month away, but still,
yeah.
if you could send us the email that they have to apply for.
Sure, yeah.
That
It's
would
on
be
the
great.
website.
Yeah.
And it's
Because that
the
I-
same initial form for all town
Right,
volunteers.
because then I can include the website.
Yeah,
The same one you made out,
I'm
the
sorry,
same one that you made out here.
I don't think I did that.
Oh, I know you did.
All right,
Yeah, because you wouldn't be here in
it's been a while, Will.
a couple of days, right?
Feels like
Is there
forever.
any problem with putting the ad in Sparks as soon as we can get it in there?
Can't hurt. I mean, if we get 2 or 3, if all of a sudden we get inundated with a bunch of people, I guess, oh, yeah, but I don't really think we're going to, but yeah.
What is the cutoff date, you want something in Spark?
usually the 15th of the month prior. Yeah.
Yeah, but with your newsletter, it's a month away. I mean, the next newsletter comes out October, right?
Yeah, we usually
Yeah, so
are ready
it's,
out by October 1st, so, and this would
Right,
be
so
the
either
cutoff.
way, either newsletter, it's gonna be the October issue before it appears.
Yeah, which, I mean, 3 weeks from now, but it's up to you all, but we could create a flyer similar to what I did for Fair Rent, and we could post it out on Facebook, on the Senior Center Facebook page, just saying that we're looking, and that obviously can happen immediately, along with Mary's emails that she sends out multiple times a week. We could put a blurb in there, so it's more timely. And then we could still put it in the newsletter as well, but if we wanna get it out right away.
Don't you want?
Very good.
I'm sorry?
You have a newsletter?
Well,
Sparks?
No.
Just
you have
Friday.
a newsletter.
No, we did years ago with that, went away.
I mean, I think we should reach out.
That's a good idea, I'll bring that up the next meeting.
But the wider we spread the net, the more fish we get, maybe.
That's an actual, yeah, spread the net, yeah.
If we get
Okay,
seniors, we get seniors. If we
who's
get
gonna
students-
bell the cat?
Who's gonna who?
Who's gonna bell the cat? We need an announcement in the next Sparks. It doesn't just happen. Somebody has to write a sentence and submit it.
We, staff can do that, I mean, unless
I mean,
anybody wants, but that's easy for us to do. We'll just
You're-
tweak what we already have in the newsletter and just really highlight it, because we already have, as you probably saw in the September's one, there's a section in there about come join, you know. So we could just highlight it, and then the Facebook post, I'll work with Sarah or Mary on, and then Mary, same thing, we can just throw a little blurb into her, the, weekly emails that she does, and just highlight it there too, I mean, that's easy. So,
Okay, that's the
Staff
kind of
doesn't
action item I like.
all right,
It's
we're
gonna
on
take
it.
care of itself.
More or less.
Okay, oh, along with that same line, very, belated at this point. That leaves us without a secretary. Have you been taking notice? Thank you.
Notice that.
All in favor?
Martina
You've
and
been
Laura have
trusted.
been our substitute secretaries. I have the impression that Martina only does it out of a real sense of obligation. Laura seems to be more willing. So if that's all right with everybody, I don't think Martina will be hurt in the least. All those in favor of having Laura be the secretary, say aye or wave or. Okay.
Laura didn't raise her hand.
More or less, yeah.
Is it nice to be popular? Besides that, she writes legibly.
Okay, I am aware of no public wishing to address the committee, and we don't have anybody on Zoom. Where might we go relative to keeping the movement for a new senior center active and being poised to respond to whatever comes down the pipe?
I go
I
back to
haven't
the.
been here that long. You shouldn't be so cynical.
I'm reacting to the other folks in the room.
How long a period where we even think about a new center? Doesn't it have to be voted on, approved and everything?
Yeah.
It's a waste of time right now.
I think pictures is not a waste. Tony told us it'll be a couple of years.
Yeah,
That's fine.
I think right now, you know, it's just, let's just
Yeah.
let it fly. Let's just see what happens.
Let's deal with issues like we're not getting resolved or answered from. I think just going around to visit centers that we may never ever get is a waste of time.
Well, it is and it isn't, but you brought up a good thing with the catalog that Sarah has at the meeting. I think that should be part of the main thing. I mean, too bad we couldn't get a couple of copies of it, get it over
Right.
to the
Right.
town council and say, here, this is what we're talking about, but.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's, if it's feasible, I don't know.
Send it to the town council with a big post-it on the front, so this is our wish list.
Yeah, we could.
You
do
want a
that.
wish list, this is it.
Yeah, you could,
Pick and choose, pick what you like.
but as far as making the push, I think we pushed, we pushed really well that meeting. We did very.
I don't think at this point we can do much more.
No,
We just need to keep it in front of them.
That's
I
right.
think they're very
Get the
well,
frontal lobe with it.
I think they're very well aware.
Just keep it there.
Well, they said that we're supposed to be high on the list for new centers, but
Yeah, well,
recently the mayor said not till
I think,
4 years,
I think what they're trying to do,
put us off.
no, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to incorporate the senior center in with the new town hall,
Right,
so that people will approve it. The senior center alone, you're not gonna win this town, senior center alone.
that would be,
So if they work it in with that, then I think we got a good shot at getting, it.
that would be an obvious strategy
yes,
and probably a winning one.
yes.
Because I agree, if standalone, you don't stand a chance.
it's never gonna happen.
Right.
well, and that's all the more reason to get some senior architect consultation, or at least have our wishes available, so we don't have a contractor who's excellent at designing a town hall and say, okay, the third floor is senior center.
Boom, drop it.
Which goes right back to Sarah's book.
Yeah, what we could,
They're
what
they're
we could,
just gonna incorporate it in existing buildings.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that either that or they're gonna do it at the center.
Community center.
Community center. They're gonna put a floor on the community center. Make a
Like they
building
did in
outside. of the-
William.
Yes, exactly. But
And if that's what
let's
we
wait
can
and
get,
see.
take it.
Let's wait and see. When it comes to the point where you're kind of saying, well, we're gonna incorporate the two together, that's when we go and we say, here's this book, this is what we want. You know, an architect that does that, but at this point, there's no sense doing that until there's some movement to get it done. That would be nice.
Something is better than nothing.
My
We're not at that
concern
point yet, Joanne.
is that
We still have some input. And as long as we've got some input,
I think it's a dead issue. We're gonna be part of the Mansfield Community Center.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
I think
That's
it's
your-
a moot point.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as that, that's fine. But when they come to do it, that's when they come up with the book.
Yeah.
And say,
and
hey, you're gonna do it here, this is what,
we
use
need
this one,
this,
we need an
this,
architect.
the point is, even if they put us as part of another building, if we can get the input from a design standpoint, that architects who design for the elderly have input,
That's never gonna,
if we push hard enough,
never gonna happen.
we
You
need,
don't know this town enough.
we need architects who design for seniors.
We haven't had an architect that is right for it.
Well, then it's goddamn time, Joanne.
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
But-
I'll get vetted by.
You're a fighter.
Well,
fight for it.
Maybe I will too, who knows? Maybe a little piece there, who knows? I'm not counting on it. Let's put it that way.
for our objective as a COA for the upcoming year, especially even for the next meeting. I've got to come up with an agenda. What items should we have on that agenda?
No,
You could-
Yeah.
No.
why don't we?
I've heard enough
why
about
don't-
that smell
why don't
the
we
last
ask the
few
facilities to come over and give them a warning of why we want them to come over here. And have them here and,
My recollection of the past since is that facilities has been more than willing to work with the senior center on various issues, so that we certainly don't want to alienate them.
no, we're not gonna hammer them, we just just like to know what's.
Well, I could ask, because we have residents meeting, on the 26th. I can ask residents if they have something that, this committee can work on.
Okay, and if you would email that to me,
Sure.
I don't know. What's our next?
What did you say?
to get the facility person here, that would be top on my list.
Good idea.
And
I
That's
think it's
inviting.
appropriate to, you know, if I reached out to Alan and just said that the Commission on Aging is requesting a facilities update, right? There's a lot of things happening here, from the ADA compliance to the add-on of a new fridge, to expand our senior nutrition programming, to the smell. I mean, I think that, and I don't think that, they would feel attacked. I think you're just looking for an update. There's a lot of stuff going on, you know, and we just wanna know where it's all at.
Just,
And I don't think it's gonna be done by the time our next meeting rolls around, so just where are we at with it? The questions with the architectural firm, stuff like that, that's all stuff that they could easily roll off the tongue answer to you all.
I think if you send
Sounds good, Allison.
just enough.
I have no problem reaching out to Alan and saying, hey, just an update on facilities, there's a bunch of stuff going on, and
And get some answers, that's it, like we did with the garden. I was one of the ones recommended from the garden,
okay.
and Rainey and Joan have done a great job. I've done very little, but they've done a super job. We have flowers on the table every
Yeah,
day.
it's so pretty, yeah.
And, you know, it's just an upgrade to our food service has been upgraded. You know, you've done a lot of nice things, but there's physical things that we can't deal with, only facilities.
I think if you send out a letter to, like Susan, who's our administrator, Louise, our assistant administrator, or even Eileen, the program director, get a response back from them, what they think, you know, them and us can work on together.
Okay, all right.
let's see. Allison, would it be appropriate for you to ask Alan, or would it be more appropriate for me?
Totally up to you, I have no, reaching out to him.
Yeah, I think the invitation should come from you. Allison can talk, but I think the actual invitation should come.
And this would be for the next meeting or the meeting after, to allow for scheduling.
You know,
I would have him come sooner rather than later, since it's timely stuff, you know,
Have them come.
come
sooner.
sooner.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
this is
you have
schedule permitting. But if he has
yeah.
a commitment at our next meeting, then we could not drop it, but. just
Is the next
postpone.
meeting November or in
We
October?
have November down here.
Oh, did that get in there?
Yeah, I got November. down.
Okay, yeah,
So,
I
What
think,
about October?
Kathy caught it, and the official.
Oh, okay,
agenda
okay,
Does say October, and remember that because of Columbus Day, it's not the second Monday, it's the third
Third
Monday.
Third Monday of
Right.
It's the 16th, yeah.
okay.
And I think we should do a little appreciation. Our programs have been great, like the food, all that you guys have been doing, I think should be.
they do, I can't take credit for it, I was just talking to one of my former colleagues on my way to work this morning, and I really, I'm just impressed by the senior center, and I can still say that because I'm new enough to like not be tooting my own horn. I mean, they really.
With a small staff.
Well, I think they have a decent size staff, but with a small center, but I think we're actually very, very well staffed here. Comparative to other senior centers of.
People are coming from Coventry, from Columbia, they're coming for the meals. And
The programming's unique and
Yeah.
different, and I mean, I can't tell you how many times, like, I write to Sarah or Mary, and I'm like, I wanna go to that, like, it's stuff that, like, is, so different and unique and creative, and the meal program, I didn't mention, we did extend an offer to, our kitchen assistant, so fingers crossed, as you know, that's been vacant for quite a while, we've offered some people a position, they've not accepted, so hopefully the new person is starting September 18th, so then we will be fully staffed across my entire department, which is very exciting.
I really think you
well,
guys
mine's
have done a good job. You know, with all the restraints you've had and short staff, and everybody's pitched in, and I think they should be acknowledged.
Yeah, everybody seems to really be loving the food, and we've seen an
The
increase.
food is excellent.
Yeah, We've even had Kristen cater like when I've hosted people for meetings or staff meetings, we've had her provide the food, so.
And Sarah's saying she would like to do the cafe again.
Yep. Now
Which
she's in the kitchen
is gonna
assistant.
draw more people.
Yep.
Do we have a percentage of how much we've grown
So.
because of the food program?
So the actual sign-ins haven't changed all that much, like, cause I run stats every month, so, you know, we range usually between 1,200 and 1,500 sign-ins, which is really impressive. And then, but we have seen an increase in people accessing the meals. I don't have an exact percentage, but I think we'll see it continue to increase. It's hard to quantify too, because we've increased the days over time, so now we've added another day. So when you run the actual stats overall, we're providing more meals,
And
but
we've
it's
added
also,
evening program.
yeah,
And we've
evening
added
programming.
a lot of interesting programs. Mary's had more educational stuff and activities that everyone has a chance to participate. And I've been impressed with what you guys have done over the past year or two.
Prior
That
to
it's important,
COVID,
and I think it's great, but I think it should
Always
be
is
acknowledged.
here, yes, thank you.
prior to COVID, we had an application not in, but ready to go almost for certification. I personally think that it's an easy way to demonstrate that this is an excellent senior center. Especially when it comes to writing grants. So people are sitting on the grant review board and they have, oh, this one's nice and this one's nice, this one's certified. That tells me a certain amount about the quality of that program.
Grant writing is, do
Is
we
that-
have anybody to do grants yet?
Was that something that was discussed in the past, having somebody?
We talked about that, but the governor had monies out there. Sarah took advantage of, they got in on some of it. I think that helped the food program and program.
Oh, well, that was ARPA money through the town.
But maybe we could do something, see grants out there. I wish I knew how to do that. I would love to do that. But grant writing is another way we can get more monies in here for more things that we want.
We do, so throughout the department, we're kind of keep our eyes on grant opportunities. For example, that's how we're adding on the fridge, actually, that's the Department of Ag grant. So, Dorothy Duvall in my department, her title is Community Assistance Coordinator. She does a lot of grant writing, for various programs. Obviously, we have like a lot of CDBG money, so we do like the housing rehab program, and she kind of keeps her eyes out on other housing related grants as well. You know, there's stuff that comes up through like AARP. I don't know if we've ever applied here, but I know that in my previous position in Summers, we had applied for money through AARP, to expand some like of our technology services within our senior center. So we definitely keep our feelers out there. We don't have a designated grant writer, but certainly I can write grants. Dorothy's an experienced grant writer. So we have people on staff that have experience writing grants and can write them when we identify them.
Good question.
Yeah.
Are we gonna do anything about this accreditation, or is this dead?
So John and I met about it. Sarah and I also touched base. I think, you know, myself being so new, and also us, you know, being down staffed on this side, it just didn't feel like a high priority task to tackle again. Unfortunately, I'm not sure, you know, what happened in 2019 era, but most of the stuff now and what was a almost complete binder is obsolete. So yeah, it's a real shame. It's a real shame because you all were at the finish line with it, and once again, I don't know why it didn't make it across the line.
COVID.
We were.
I think that was one factor. Yeah,
We were this close.
yeah.
COVID.
So now it's everything in it is pretty much outdated. I mean, it's like this.
I know.
So no, I wouldn't say it's dead, but it's definitely back burner right now.
We can adjourn, John.
Okay. Other item? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
We've got it.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? We're adjourned. See you in